Hi, everybody. Welcome again to the Simply Human YouTube channel and podcast. I'm Christina Caro, clinical psychologist, and my partner Karen Lee Linsky, executive and self-trust coach, is away traveling. So I'm going to be doing a short episode today on something that I think is just really relevant for where everybody might be right now. It's October 2025, and if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, you are not alone. There's so much going on. Like right now, the government is shut down, and there are tens of thousands of government workers who find themselves either having to work without pay or they're furloughed. And they may be furloughed wondering if they are also going to lose their job in a reduction in force. There are farmers who are worrying about losing their farms. There are people in our communities who are terrified about being disappeared by masked, quote, agents just because of the color of their skin or an accent that they might have. And for so many of us, the American dream that we were always told to believe in seems to be turning into a nightmare. So, what can we do? With so much going on, and those are just a few things. I mean, my God, the list is so long, it'll end up making everybody depressed if I go through the whole things. And that's not what I want to focus on today. What I want to focus on today is this concept of microdosing hope. And that is the belief that small acts will result in big ripples. But before we dive in, one act of kindness that you can do is hit that like button and then share in the comments below what is one of your go-tos for microdosing hope. And again, microdosing hope is looking for those small gestures, those small things that you can do in your day-to-day life that not only helps to instill hope in yourself, but can also instill hope in the people around you, your family members, your colleagues, your neighbors, and your community. Now, if any of you have ever been on an airplane, you have probably heard the instructions that if the oxygen mask comes down, put the mask on yourself first and then go help the person next to you. So, what we want to focus on right now is staying grounded. What can you do so that you can build your own resilience to be an agent of hope? First of all, let's stop doom scrolling. Okay. I have to tell a lot of my clients they may need to do a media fast, okay? Because the algorithms and the way social media is set up now, and even regular mainstream media, they found this a long time ago, is if it bleeds, it leads. Or if it evokes anger and fear, it seems to capture attention more. So the algorithms are designed to keep us hooked through fear because fear is such a powerful emotion. So you would need to set some boundaries around doom scrolling. It might be something like you only check the news twice a day at max. In the morning, maybe your morning commute, and then a half hour in the evening. You can set a timer on your phone or you can tie it to one of those rituals and then stick with that. You do not need to inundate yourself with everything that's going on. You just want to stay informed. Another thing you can do is start your day with something beautiful before you check your phone. Go into your child's room and wake them up with a kiss, or make yourself your favorite hot drink. We're getting into the cold weather now, and sometimes just the smell of freshly brewed coffee can just make you feel better. Or maybe it's spending a few minutes tending your garden. Whatever it is, just start your day with something that makes you laugh or something that is beautiful and inspiring. Then during the day, try to get in at least two 10 or 15-minute walks, or try to split up in your day 10 to 15 minutes of some moderate exercise. Now, there has been research that shows that about 30 minutes a day of moderate exercise has the same beneficial effect as antidepressants, but with none of the side effects. Ask one person, how are you really doing? With the intention to listen. I know that in our culture, hey, how's it going? Is more of a greeting without an expectation of an actual response. But just every now and then, sit down, take some time. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your kid, maybe it's your best friend, and you just check in, hey, how are you doing? just to make that connection, because that's actually really beneficial for yourself in staying grounded. And maybe you are someone who loves movement. So dance like no one is looking to one of your favorite songs, and it just makes you feel alive. You just start spontaneously smiling. There's something about the music that just makes you feel good and energized, because that's what we really need right now. Fear and despair makes us feel lethargic. So doing things that make you feel energized will be helpful if you are going to be an agent of hope. So now let's move on to the next part. What do we do for others that are these tiny acts of care? So in a 2025 article published by the Harvard Health Publishing, they described compelling evidence that kindness is linked to a number of aspects of health and well being, and that some studies have indicated that small acts of kindness can improve happiness and a sense of engagement with life, reduce symptoms of anxiety, and increase a sense of social connectedness. So, we want to start thinking about what are some small things that we can do. And this is just a small list to get you started. And I'll put this in the show notes, but maybe have a journal for yourself where you start listing what are some of the small acts that I can do in my own life. So here are some suggestions. The next time you go to the coffee shop or Starbucks or wherever it is you go, Pete's, maybe consider paying for the coffee of the person that's behind you. Consider texting 3 people and just say, hey, thinking about you. Offer to watch a friend's kids so that they can rest, or maybe they need to do some job searching because maybe they were recently furloughed. Drop off a meal with no explanation, just for the heck of it. Leave an extra generous tip the next time you go to a coffee shop or you go out to dinner, or even go into a car wash or the Instacart person, and maybe compliment a stranger genuinely. And one of the things I would recommend here is, like, say you take your walk out in the park and you see an elderly person sitting, watching life go by, just smile and say hello. The loneliness epidemic is a population that's being hit really hard is the elderly. So by just being kind, saying hello, giving a smile, that can be a small microdose of kindness and instill hope. Some other things that you want to think about is connecting and helping. Now, one thing you can do is wherever you are, you can Google your city and mutual aid. So, mutual aid is something that became more prevalent during the pandemic, and it will help link you with different types of organizations that are providing help. So, I'm going to do it right here. If I put in Los Angeles, which is the big city when I'm not here in the mountains, and I put in mutual aid, there's something called the Mutual Aid LA Network. And it's wonderful because it provides just a list of all kinds of nonprofit organizations and different groups that you can contribute to or help with. And wherever you are in the country, big or small cities, you can probably find a mutual aid group that you can hook up with. Or maybe you don't have something near you. Your local library can be a pretty amazing place to find out community needs that you can contribute to. Maybe like in up north in my community, there's a community garden. You can find out who runs it. Like where I live, we had volunteers who would help with watering, or this time of year, it's going to be cleaning up the beds and getting it ready for winter. Maybe you have a specific skill, like maybe you're good at typing or you're really good at writing resumes. So you can offer that. You can put a card up on a bulletin board and say, free resume writing services. Share resources without being asked. Maybe you know of some people in your circle who were laid off. You just send them a job posting and say, hey, I was thinking about you and I saw this. Make a phone call to your local representative or join a phone banking group, because that's kind of fun. You all get together on a certain time and they provide you with a script. It's all really automated now. You don't have to call one at a time, like the computer makes the calls and then you just talk. Whenever someone finally picks up, then you have your script and you can encourage them to either, do their own calling, because that's what we're kind of doing right now is we're trying to get people to call their representatives, say, hey, open back up Congress and get back to work. Do the thing that we sent you to Washington to do. Like, people are suffering here. Stop this gameplay. So that could be really helpful. And you can do it in community with a group. And it's actually pretty fun to do when you do it all together. Other things that you can do is amplify good news by sharing it either through your social media, share it with friends. There's a podcast that I like to listen to called The Daily Beans. And at the end of it, they have something called the good news, and people write in and just share whatever it is, whatever their shout out. Maybe there's a new business opening in their community, or maybe their kid just graduated from school, or maybe they just adopted a pet, whatever it is. Just share your good news with people, because it's a way to inoculate ourselves from all of this negative news that's being flung at us through these algorithms. And then finally, when we're doing all this work, we have to remember to build resilience. Make sure that you are staying tuned into your boundaries. Say no to one thing that is draining you. Save one inspiring story or message that gives you hope. I have some friends who send these inspirational stories, and I'll save them so I can go back to them and read them later. Some things like learn a new practical skill. I'm going to start learning Spanish. That's what I decided to do. Or for me, like, it's going for a hike. It's fall, it's autumn, and I'm trying to make sure that whenever the weather's nice and I'm going out and just hiking up and looking at the fall colors, remember to just rest. Sometimes we forget that we can rest without feeling guilty. And it is so important to give yourself some time, and maybe you have to bracket it out in your schedule where you turn off your phone, you tell your spouse, you tell your kids, hey, I'm going to go take some me time. I'm going to take a hot bath. No one should bug me during that time, and give yourself that time to recharge. Because remember, you really can't help anybody else unless you're taking care of yourself. And then the most important thing is remember to celebrate tiny wins. And I don't care what that could be. It might be that you balanced your checkbook this week, or maybe your kid did really well on an essay that they were really worried about, or maybe you got a great parking spot when you were at Costco. Man, you got to celebrate that when that happens. So remember, you don't have to do everything. Just pick one of these things, or one thing that you can come up with that instills hope, that shares kindness, and do it this week. And again, we'll have the suggestions in the show notes. And hopefully, we really want you guys to add to the comments below so we can build this little library on this episode on a whole bunch of micro doses of hope. And remember, you can leave a like and share this episode with somebody as another act of kindness. And remember that kindness compounds. So your kindness gives someone else permission to be kind to someone else. It inspires. So let's all start building resilience by taking care of ourselves and helping to nurture hope in others. And remember, as I always say, stay kind and curious, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.